Congratulations, they split a series with the Major League's best team. Good job, Tigers. CHGO White Sox post-game show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Welcome into Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. My producer today, Joey Christopoulos, for the second time.
Two shows, one host. Two shows, one host.
There you go. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. If you missed it, there was some big news today in the White Sox world. So big that we did a second show. There is an emergency podcast up on the CHGO White Sox podcast feed. There is a emergency podcast up on our YouTube page if you do want to go check that out. The White Sox announced that Jerry Reinsdorf and Justin Ishbia have laid out the groundwork for a long-term ownership plan. We will focus on that during today's show. We will open up with some CHSN talk because the ownership sales and the CHSN talk, I believe, are connected. Then we will talk about the White Sox splitting a series with the Detroit Tigers, and they had Luis Robert Jr. on Monday, and they lost 13-1. They won 2 of 3 without him. We talked about this team being fun bad, and maybe the one person that's holding them back is the one with the most talents. So, woohoo! Very exciting. A ton of people hanging out with the chat. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. John's excited. Matthew's excited. Goop's excited. Jared is excited, saying, is that the first walk-off this year? Why can't I remember another? I don't think there was another walk-off this year, so I think that's the first walk-off for the White Sox. I was just more surprised that they won. My head's been swimming with all of this news. We're going to talk about the main series with Jared Wyllys in the back half of the show. He's currently at Rate Field talking to the White Sox now. We'll get an update on Luis Robert Jr. We'll talk about the phenomenal job by Chase Elko over the past couple of games, how red hot he's been. Sox improved to 20-43 on the year. A great job by your Chicago White Sox. And I don't think there has been a walk-off. They won in 10 innings against Cincinnati, but no walk-off for the Sox. They were walked off in Boston and against Oakland, but both of those were wins by those home teams. So the Sox did win twice in 7, but this is their first walk-off victory in 2025. All right, let's start at the news that happened last night, because this then leads into the Jerry and Ishbia news that happens at noon today. Last night, Lawrence Holmes and I believe Jeff Agris were the first to report that CHSN and Comcast have finally agreed to terms on getting Comcast or CHSN broadcast to CHSN paying customers, and that by Friday on the elite tier, right?
Ultimate tier.
On the ultimate tier, that CHSN Comcast providers, Comcast subscribers will finally start getting CHSN. I don't think this has been a huge factor for Sox fans. I've been able to watch with an antenna. I think if you're technologically advanced enough or young enough, you probably know of the lovely sites that allow you to watch certain sporting events for free. So I don't know if people have had that much trouble. I also, to be fair, I think a lot of people pay attention to the post game. I think a lot of people pay attention to the box score. I don't know if a lot of people are actually watching. So I think that's why you haven't heard such a clamoring from White Sox fans, is because I don't think there's a ton of people that are just tuning in to watch. And if you're tuning in to watch, you have a way around, I think, the current blockage. But the reason this happens is because of what happens later today at noon. First, let's hear from Jeff Agris of the Chicago Sun-Times. CHGO Blackhawks, Jay and Mario had him on today to talk about this news for Blackhawks, Bulls, and Sox fans and what that means. So here is Jeff Agris explaining the ultimate tier.
It will be on the ultimate tier. That was where CHSN was destined to go. And anyone in that office building will tell you they expected to get there eventually. They tried not to. They tried to get in where Marquee is right now on the popular tier, which is the middle tier, which is the most widely distributed tier. With the ultimate tier, that's where you only find your, not only, but that's where you find your sports specific channels. Your NBA, NHL, MLB networks are there, SEC, ACC. So that's where CHSN is going to go. It will cost customers another $20 a month. Now, if you match that up with what CHSN's direct-to-consumer product is, that's $30 a month for all three teams. In this sense, you're getting all three teams for $20, in addition to all the other channels that come with that tier of programming. So in that sense, it's a deal. But if you're a cord cutter and you've been enjoying CHSN on direct-to-consumer, by all means, continue. It's still available on Fubo TV. It's still on DirecTV Stream. Everybody who's still clamoring for YouTube and Hulu, I just never see that ever happening. They've removed themselves from the RSN field completely, and I don't see them allowing CHSN to air on their system and not anything else, yes, Sportsnet in LA, those types of channels. So this is really all about Comcast and getting it to about 1 million Comcast customers in the area. And that's going to be a big boon for their number because, man, like you said, Mario, they've been taking a beating as far as viewership numbers.
So who gets credit for making this happen? Is it just a matter of someone they finally caved and accepted to be on the ultimate tier? Because I saw back in April that Jerry Reinsdorf met with the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr.
Yeah.
And there was some speculation that might have something to do with it. I know Carr in the past, forgive me, I forget which market it was, but kind of got involved and helped push a similar deal through. Does Jerry Reinsdorf get any credit in making this happen, or was it just a matter of, CHSN saying, fine, we'll be on the ultimate tier, let's just do it that way?
Yeah, I don't think Brendan Carr, the FCC chair, had a hand in this. He did have a hand in keeping the Yes Network, the Yankees home in New York, on the air when they were in a dispute with Comcast. He sent out a tweet, and that's all it took to get that put to bed. But those are the Yankees, and the White Sox just don't have that kind of pull. Maybe if they were more successful on the field, they might, but even then, they're just not the Yankees. I have not been able to confirm this, but Lawrence Holmes of The Score had reported that it was at this point it became part of the NBC Peacock deal with the NBA that might have pushed this over the finish line. In that, with the Bulls being on CHSN, NBC, which is owned by Comcast, is going to want to promote those games that will be on NBC and Peacock during Bulls games. And the closer we get to that point in time of those games beginning, that was going to probably push this deal over the finish line. Why it took this long, I don't understand. I'm still working on getting the finer details, including what channel will it be on? Will they just go right on to channel 200 and 201, which is where NBC Sports Chicago was on Xfinity? I don't know that yet. But there does seem to be some thought to the NBA's deal with NBC being a reason that this finally came to fruition.
So Jeff there saying that the NBC on NBA or NBA on NBC deal / Peacock deal is what ultimately led to this happening. But I think this took Jerry Reinsdorf caving just a little bit. Agris did say that if you ask any CHSN employee where they thought they would be, they thought they would end up at this ultimate tier. That's where they end up. But again, the biggest reason why this has been delayed was they were trying to hold over Comcast's head that they wanted to be on that popular tier, like Agris said, along with Marquee, so that there's no discrepancy there between Sox fans / Bulls fans / Blackhawks fans having to pay more to access their team, unlike Cubs fans. But the Cubs just got in at the right time. The Cubs just got in before RSNs completely crumbled underneath all of these baseball teams' feet. So I think it's partly to do with ownership, and I think it's partly to do with the NBA, why this deal got done. Even in looking at the chat, though, Leonard says, it has no impact on me. I paid $25 for a digital antenna and cut cable years ago. It doesn't have an impact on me. I don't have cable, and I can figure out how to watch games. It's not that difficult, at least for me, to access those games. I know it's a lot easier for some people to just put in channel 200 and watch the game on that. That's great for you. But this, at the end of the day, doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect a large amount of White Sox fans, I think. It affects 1 million Comcast subscribers, but how many of those Comcast subscribers are actually White Sox fans? I think if you're a Sox fan trying to watch the game, you've been able to figure that out. I think part of this, though, the reason why Reinsdorf maybe gave to Comcast finally coming up with maybe them pushing a little bit on their end with the NBA deal coming up, like maybe Comcast did give a little bit, but obviously they didn't give enough to where Reinsdorf wanted to be on that tier lower. I think a part of it comes down with the news today that the White Sox come out and announce that there is now a long-term agreement for Jerry Reinsdorf to hand over controlling ownership to Justin Ishbia. If you've missed the announcement, where have you been? Let's talk about it. I'll reread the press release just so we know all of the important details to go back and forth. But the White Sox announced today that Jerry Reinsdorf and Justin Ishbia reached a long-term investment agreement that established a framework for Ishbia to obtain a full controlling interest in the White Sox. As a part of the agreement, Ishbia will make capital infusions into the White Sox as a limited partner in 2025 and 2026 that will be used to pay down existing debt. I think it's connected to CHN, if I could be honest with you, because they didn't build their own stadium. They haven't paid that much money. I don't think they've been in the red that decently. Part of the reason why the Ishbias abandoned their Twins support or their Twins effort was because of the Pohlads' insane amount of debt. The reason why they wanted the White Sox was because there was a lot less debt. So, I mean, they're going to pay off that debt, but I don't know how much that debt actually is. I wouldn't see that as like DEBET or DEBT. I mean, when you have this large of an organization, there is healthy debt also to have as organizations. And then also to support ongoing team operations. The agreement provides that from 2029 to 2033, Reinsdorf will have the option to sell the controlling interest to Ishbia. After the 2034 season, Ishbia will have the option to acquire the controlling interest. In the event of any such future transactions, all limited partners of the White Sox will have opportunity to sell to Ishbia at a time. That will be at a different, evaluation than what Ishbia just bought at, so it will be a completely different evaluation. It'll be a later on evaluation, from my understanding. And then in addition to Justin Ishbia, Matt Ishbia and his father, their father, Jeff Ishbia, will also be significant investors. That family is pretty much the brains behind the UMW. Wait, what is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was United Mortgage Wealth Company.
Okay.
Yep.
UMW, my bad. United Mortgage Wealth. I wrote UMU, which is wrong. So yes, Universal.
It was a big day. John Hosey in the chat was like, White Sox win, Jerry sells the team, CHSN, today was a good day. So take your time.
Say it again. Because United
Mortgage Wealth.
Okay. That holdings. Justin owns 22% of that. He's worth 4.3. Matt owns 71% of that company.
United Wholesale Mortgage.
About 7.1 billion. All right. United Wholesale Mortgage. My bad. But that is where the main amount of this money comes from. And along with Ishbia, he had a statement today. This is an investment in the future of the Chicago White Sox, and I'm excited for the opportunity to deepen my commitment to the city and team. Right there is all that you need to know about. If you've been wondering if the White Sox will be leaving Chicago, I think it's very, 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 very 99.999% likely that Justin Ishbia keeps the Chicago White Sox in Chicago. So this is at least hell yeah! Forgot about the hell yes. This is the great day for Chicago White Sox fans because I do believe that this signals that the team will be staying in Chicago. But that timeline, the lease for Rate Field ends. There's an agreement right now between the White Sox and ISFA to lease out the Rate Field currently to the White Sox until 2029. I think that this is going to lead to the Ishbias building a stadium under their own private equity. I believe that this is mainly a real estate play for them, attached to a sports team as well. But we've seen the drawings of what a new stadium for the White Sox can look like. Jerry Reinsdorf has talked about how the evaluation of this team would grow if they were able to put themselves in a neighborhood-like situation and maybe closer to a downtown area. So I don't think it's impossible that the 78 still happens. We'll talk about that after the break. I also think there's another site that's definitely possible. If you have any thoughts, hit that thumbs up button or share us in the comments. Joey can read them for you. Love to see that. Mailman Jack is having celebratory Milanos tonight. I always love pepperoni and onion. Well done. That's just for me, the thin slice. But anyways, we'll take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast, and we'll expand a little bit more on the Justin Ishbia and Jerry Reinsdorf ongoing thing. I don't know what the hell to say it. All right. Let's let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is here to elevate your summer. They have a ton of stops for you, whether you're downtown in Wrigleyville or River North, all the way to the suburbs in Champaign and South Beloit. I love their Elmwood Park location. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer because they're a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from. Plus, they have easy online ordering and in-store pickup. And if you're just starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands they know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's, so you can go trust our lovely, lovely, friendly experts over at Sunnyside and use this fantastic code. Go to sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright Buys every day. Only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. And for existing users, use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Lab brand item. That's CHGO50. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Empire Today. If you need experts to put flooring in your home, you will not find that at a big box store. You will not be able to go into the flooring section and be able to pick out what floor you want. There's way too many options, and you're going to get overwhelmed. You can call the experts over at Empire Today because they are the experts that have a wonderful curated selection of lovely floors that will look great inside your home, and they have experts who can actually install these floors. You don't have to rely on your buddy or your husband's buddy that can only do it on the weekends. You won't have floors for like 4 months. People at Empire are experts and can do this in a timely, well-mannered fashion. You can get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered, so there's no surprises with a free in-home estimate, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners can schedule a free in-home estimate today, and you can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code CHGO. A $350 off discount when using promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. Back here on the CHGO White Sox podcast, presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Melissa saying, can Sean expand on something he mentioned in the emergency podcast about sexual assault allegations and some race issues, as well connected to Ishbia? My bad. Yeah, I didn't do enough delving into this, so that's my bad. I was truly too busy just watching the game. The Ishbia's, specifically Matt,
I have some of it right here. There's a report that
you.
Employees claim toxic work culture at Suns owner Matt Ishbia's United Wholesale Mortgage Company. Claims range from racial disparities, bullying, sexual harassment, and locker room culture.
Yes, and then is that the one from May 15th? There's one from May 15th. Suns being sued by an employee for 4th time in 7 months. A current employee of the Phoenix Suns sued the team in U.S. District Court in Arizona on Tuesday, citing allegations of discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The lawsuit is the 4th filed against the Suns by a current or former member of the organization in the past 7 months. In the complaint, Traylor says one of his primary roles was to identify safety, financial, and reputational risks for the Suns. In 2023, Taylor submitted a presentation for management, which was reviewed by ESPN, that outlined specific incidents, including these 3. In March 2023, an unnamed former part-time employee was found to have stolen more than $40,000 in shoes, merchandise, and apparel during their employment. In April 2023, a disgruntled subject interrupted a Suns photo op with team executives, including team president Josh Bartelstein. And in 2023, a political influencer harassed former Phoenix Mercury player Brittany Griner at Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, delaying a team flight by 3.5 hours. There's just a lot going on, and I didn't mean to bring this up so hastily. It's just more that I understand that people are excited about the Ishbias. I understand that people are excited about a new influx of cash. But at the end of the day, billionaires are not like you and I. Obviously, they are very human. Obviously, they bleed blood. But it's like the 1% of the 1% are these type of people, and their money would drown you. And I don't know how in touch they are with society, and at least what I've heard about Matt specifically is Matt is very aggressive. So I don't know if that is what has led to some of these allegations, but it is just something to watch out for. It seems that United Wholesale Mortgage also has a similar culture. There was reporting done by, I believe, Pablo Torre about Matt Ishbia and the Suns' culture. There's been a big, at least on Matt's side, a big push for a winning culture there, and I think it's kind of it's sparing no expense, and obviously real people are getting hurt. I am just reading again this on the fly, so I wish I was a little bit more put together and had a better answer for you, for Melissa. So I am sorry about that, and I will try to at least when I do bring up stuff, be a little bit more clearer and have my my SHIT in line.
Well, I think some of the important things about this is, one, obviously it's tied to his brother Matt. We don't know exactly what Justin has to do with these particular cases.
Matt is named in the press release along with their dad. So Matt is going to be a part of the organization.
No, agreed 100%. And I think what's important is that when we do bring these things up, and Melissa and people like that in the chat, is we have to, as White Sox fans, be cognizant of this moving forward, because we have to hold these people to account. Now, the important thing also to keep in mind with these big corporations is, did they try and hide anything? How swiftly did they act? And how much did they inject or try and get into correct a situation to make sure that it never happens again? Those things are all very, very important moving forward in the future.
Yes, and this is also a Suns ownership that was previously owned by Robert Sarver, who was ousted for racial remarks. So how much is this a bleed over of past culture compared to the new culture with Ishbia? Front Office Sports did report, though, Suns keep getting sued by employees even after sale to Ishbia. Suns have been sued by 4 different current or former employees since Matt Ishbia took over from Robert Sarver as owner. So it may be something wrong with the Suns in general, but I don't know how much cleaning up Matt at least has done in Phoenix. At the end of the day, it's tough to celebrate one billionaire going from the other. I mean, that's just it. Like, I'm excited that the White Sox are staying in Chicago. That's what we really shouldn't lose focus of. Justin Ishbia taking over control, at least by 2034, the team will have a true safety net home in Chicago. And that's, I think, the biggest takeaway from today. It's when you have that type of money, it's probably not all good money. It's just what I will say. So it's no one that you should, I think, be looking up to. If maybe look up to a fireman in your life, or maybe somebody who saves cats from a tree. I guess that's firemen as well. It's good news that the White Sox will have a different influx of cash and a new money, because Jerry Reinsdorf is one of the longest owners in Major League Baseball. He's been the sole owner now, I think, since 2012, but a part of ownership since 1981. He has the longest reign of ownership. It's just good that ownership will be coming to an end at some point. Just to wrap up too on that, I believe there's 2 controlling interest stakes at hand. Reinsdorf has both of them after Eddie Einhorn's passing. And this is my way that I've come up with how this is set up, because I believe it's set up differently than current MLB ownerships and MLB teams, because this one was grandfathered in before Bud Selig was even owner. But I believe Einhorn and Reinsdorf are both controlling partners. Reinsdorf had a controlling share. Einhorn had a controlling share. Einhorn died, I believe, 2011, 2012, and then Reinsdorf bought that share, so he has both shares. What I think will happen in 2029, for them to either continue the lease at Wright Field while a new stadium is built, that is where Reinsdorf will continue to talk with ISFA, and the Ishbias, I believe, will then start to put money towards a new stadium. I think the goal is to have that new stadium by 2033. That's the 100th anniversary of the All-Star Game. The first ever was played at Comiskey Park. I think the goal would to be July 2033, have the 100th anniversary of the All-Star Game. It would be pretty cool if they even had the first ever game be the 100th anniversary of the All-Star Game in Chicago. But I think that it's mainly the reason why you're seeing this right now is because it's largely a real estate play by the Ishbias to take over this legacy organization, but also take the opportunity this organization has. The 78 and the Chicago Fire announced they're privately building their own stadium over there. I think that has then pushed Jerry to realize that he needs to get his own private equity line of money to build the stadium that he desires, that he will not get from government money. We have to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We got to pay some bills. Jared Wyllys will join us in just a second. We're going to talk about Luis Roberts' freak injury. We'll talk about Chase Mydroth's insane run. We'll talk about Tim Elko being back up on the major league team. We'll talk about the Sox splitting with the Detroit Tigers 2-4. All of that and more here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Mando. Mando is whole body deodorant that's safe to use anywhere on your body. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and you could choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, clover woods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. I've been using this now for over a year, and because I've had the starter pack, I've tried all of their products, I would really recommend to you the Cream Tube deodorant. I'm not a big fan of the stick deodorant. That one makes my armpits itch, okay? And that's just all sticks in general. I don't think that that's the right way that deodorant should be delivered to people. People are used to it, but what you should be turned on to is the Cream Tube deodorant.
Hey, bro to
Game
bro.
changer.
Bro to bro. You smell great.
Thank you, bro. 12 hours after shower, the average man's Grundle odor level was 5 out of 10. P.U. The Mando average Grundle odor is 0 out of 10. Do you want to smell my Grundle? I don't think I can ask you that.
I don't know. Maybe we can do 3 shows today.
Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, Cream Tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. And as a special offer to listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to 40% off your starter pack. Use code CHGO at shopmando.com. SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time. If you're a Chicago White Sox fan and you are looking to go to a 2025 White Sox game, you need to be using Game Time. If you were off today and you had time to go to the 110 game, you could have rolled up at 108. Shout out. You could have rolled up at 108. Bought your tickets with the last minute tickets, and the prices actually go down as you get closer and closer to game time. And Game Time will deliver those $3, $2 tickets, so you could spend all your money on hot dogs. You could just stuff your face on hot dogs. You could take the CTA right to 35th and Shields, walk up, buy your tickets as you're walking up, and be into the game with killer last minute tickets deals. They also have all-in prices, views from your seats, and their low price guarantee. GameWork takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Use the Game Time app. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What time is it, Joey?
Game time.
Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Love everyone hanging out with us. Shout out to Leonard, Victor, Melissa, Goop Like Soup, and everyone that's hanging out with us. If you haven't hit that thumbs up button, make sure you are doing so. Someone that's joining us is Jared Wyllys from Right Field. You can follow him at jwyllys over at X, Twitter, Blue Sky. Y's instead of I's. We'll keep that tradition going. Howdy, Jared. Nothing much. I think you're muted, so we'll have to figure that out. You look great, though, which is, you look really, clear, which I mean, fantastic.
Are you getting me now?
There we go. Hello.
There we go.
How are you doing?
I'm great. It's been a slow news day for the Chicago White Sox.
I know. What do you want to talk about? I mean, there's nothing really to talk about. What'd you have for breakfast this morning?
I had a protein shake and some toast.
Nice.
So exciting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I had some cinnamon raisin toast.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jared. It's going to be it. We appreciate your time. All right. Let's get into obviously what we just were talking about. Reinsdorf agreeing to basically sell to Ishbia, laying the groundwork for Justin Ishbia to take control in 2034. When you heard at least the time frames that they could sell a controlling share from 2029 to 2033, where does your mind go? I mean, how do you see the next 9 years playing out for the White Sox?
It's kind of weird because honestly, what we were talking about here at the game and the press box was just, you're looking out on the field and you're starting. Our first thought was, who of these guys are even still going to be around? If that happens is even as early as 2029, and it's really tough to envision that far ahead as far as like what this roster looks like. Is there anybody that's on the field right now that's still going to be taking the field for the White Sox in 2029? Really tough to imagine, but that was kind of the first place my mind went was, that's so far ahead. It just feels like you got the news broke today, but at the same time, it's like, well, how much are we really going to see change in the short term? I do think the stadium question is a big one again, especially in light of what happened with, the Chicago Fire and their plans. And it feels like there's reason to think that could give movement again. But yeah, honestly, right now it just feels like, okay, this is just the next step in what we thought was coming, and it's still a long ways off.
Yeah, it really does feel like that Fire announcement kind of signaled to Jerry that you're not getting government money and you better find somebody with deep pockets, which they did. All right, let's get into the series that we just saw. Sox win today, 3-2 on the Tim Elko walk-off. Let's at least just start there. I mean, what's the feeling after taking 2 of 4 from the Tigers, who have the best record in Major League Baseball, and a team that earlier in the year swept them in 3 games? I mean, how lively was that clubhouse today after the walk-off?
Yeah, especially today, very, very high energy. But as we were waiting in the hallway outside the clubhouse to talk to Will Venable, you could hear them all inside the locker room celebrating, which is standard. But a lot of talk about the fact that after getting really thumped in that first game, 13-1, then to turn around and the only other game that you lost was a really close one, and so. This feels like a series that they could easily have taken 3 out of 4, and so it's a lot of good energy coming out of the fact that you went up against by record the toughest team in baseball, and you split a 4-game series, and you made one of the wins that they got really tough on them.
Yeah, and that after Monday, I just thought it was going to be a dog walk. So the fact that they were able to take 2 out of 3, I will take it. At least stemming from this game as well, Sean Burke had a really nice outing. I felt it was weird, Will Venable's kind of handling of Burke in that 7th inning, or at least, the 7th inning. What did you make from Will Venable after he talked post-game? Was it mainly bullpen issues? Was he just trying to get the most out of Burke possible to use the least amount of arms today, even, with the extra innings not even clear at that point? It was a 2-0 game.
Yeah, he talked mostly about just like he thought Burke was looking good. Burke's stamina was good. He was feeling good. So there wasn't, at least based on those things, a pressing need to get him off of the mound. But as that inning developed, we saw where Boozer's starting to warm up, starting to get ready. And it was pretty clear that that last at bat, that was going to be the last guy that Burke faced. So if he doesn't get that out there, then he would have been done for the day. So, and Burke talked about, he felt like his fastball was good. The curveball was coming out of his hand really nicely. So he had a great day. And so I think with a young pitcher too, when you get a chance to kind of see what they can do going 7 innings and push them a little bit, then you take that opportunity, and it worked out pretty nicely today.
Yeah, a little bit of a gamble, but it paid off. 3-2 victory. Burke, 7 innings, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 15 whiffs on 53 swings, and the biggest thing, 12 called strikes and whiffs on that curveball that you mentioned. Looked really nasty today, so good job by Sean Burke. Let's get into some Chase Meidroth, because Chase Meidroth had himself a pretty good game. 2 for 2 with 3 walks, and they showed, I think, in the bottom of the 7th that Meidroth reached base in 8 of his last 9 plate appearances. That would made him the last rookie since Frank Thomas in 1990 to reach base in 8 of his last 9 plate appearances. And he said, do you know what? I'll get on base 2 more times. Meidroth has now reached in 10 of his last 11 plate appearances. What have you made of Chase?
It's quality at bat after quality at bat. And today is an easy example to point to because of the results. But I think even as we've watched him over the course of the weeks that he's been up, I think even in the at bats where he doesn't get a base hit or doesn't get a walk, you're still seeing a lot of quality at bats, and that's a big part of what translates into days like today, where he reaches every single time he goes up to the plate, because he just doesn't. He doesn't. I don't see him expanding his zone a whole lot. He takes the pitch, where it comes. He's not trying to force things very often. That's the biggest thing, especially for a young hitter, to be able to do that. You don't see that a whole lot. And that, to me, I think is one of the biggest takeaways is he takes the pitch and does with it what, again, he's not trying to do too much, to use a very old baseball expression, but takes the pitch as it comes and does with it what it will, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I have graphics to actually back that point up because, it's just been, Steve Stone said it on today's broadcast, and he did it again, I believe, in the 7th with that single. He just shoots it to the right side because it's pitched outside. Let's go on inside pitches here, Joey. Here's the spray chart for Meidroth. You could see a ton of balls going to the third base and shortstop side. You could see some fly balls going out to left field, but when he gets a pitch inside, he's pulling it, trying to go down the line. Doesn't have a ton of pop, so you'd like to see maybe, some more outfield scatter, but so far so good. On middle pitches, he goes back up the middle pretty much with it. You could see some decent scattering to right center field. You could see some decent scattering to left field, and you could see that red Splot gets a little bit thinner and a little bit more out because he's hitting it more up the middle towards shortstop and second base. And then on outside pitches, here you go. He's hitting it to first and second base. That splotch on the infield goes the other way. You see all those pitches or hits in the middle of the field as well, right up the middle, and there's not a single ball that's pulled. They're all hit to the right center gap or right down the line. He just really does know how to work his bat. And it seems, this is way too high of praise here, but it just seems Ichiro-ish of his ability to just flex his wrist and know how to direct that bat to give him the right spray for a hit. I'm not trying to give him too high of a compliment, but it seems innate to him that he's able to just get these hits. He sees a pitch outside, he flicks it over to the right field side. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And again, I can't emphasize enough, for a rookie, for someone with as little major league experience as he has, to be doing this. I think you're right. It's the kind of thing, that's just the kind of hitter he is. Some guys can learn that over time, or develop into that or adjust into that. But this is clearly this is who Chase Meidroth is. And I think that's an encouraging thing for White Sox fans, because he's probably not a guy that you're going to see slump very badly.
No, and fingers crossed we don't see that, because we got a lot of guys who are slumping. I could take that as a direction into Robert, but I'm going to ask one more about Meidroth. Someone brought up Madrigal in the comments here, and we've seen some boneheaded base running from Meidroth, but we've seen the White Sox be fairly aggressive this year. At least speaking to Venable, they're 20-43, so 63 games in. Do you feel like the reason why we've seen some boneheaded base running from Chase Meidroth is just because the White Sox in general are just being more aggressive than ever?
Yeah, I think that plays into it quite a bit, because he's not the only one. We've seen some other guys get caught in some situations where it can come out looking like the player has made a mistake, but it's the situation or what they were asked to do, a particular thing that they're looking for, and it just doesn't work out. And sometimes it's not necessarily the player's fault, and that's just a product of aggressiveness on the base paths. That's the risk that you take when you choose to play that way. There's other teams that are taking that sort of an approach, and you see similar results. We look no further than the north side of town. The Cubs have been a very aggressive base running team as well, and they've also had some guys end up looking kind of silly. So I would chalk at least some of that up to it's a product of the team's approach, and not necessarily fully what Meidroth is as a base runner.
Absolutely. We did not see Luis Robert Jr. on Tuesday and Wednesday, and the reports were that the White Sox were giving him those days off with anticipation that he'd be returning to the lineup today. However, we saw the lineup, and there was no Luis Robert Jr. What was the update that you got from Will Venable on why Luis Robert Jr. wasn't in the lineup today?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but apparently he was doing some cage work and hit a ball and it deflected, in a Rookie of the Year-esque way, if you remember that scene from the movie, and it hit him in the head. And he was
Did the big dog eat, Jared? Did the big dog eat?
Yes. And they just said, as a precaution, let's give him another day. He was out on the field beforehand today, talking to Ozzie Guillen, doing some work. So he's okay, but I think it was just we've already been giving you a couple of days as a mental reset, but now you've had this. Let's just make sure everything's really fine and before we put you back in the lineup. So nothing major. The expectation is fully that he'll be in the lineup Friday against the Royals.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Just the hilarity, too, of picturing Daniel Stern hitting balls off the top of the cage and then just going back down on his head. It's just more that it's impressive that he was able to get that much velocity on it to deflect and then still hit him in the head. Why isn't he wearing a batting helmet is maybe the biggest question. I mean, there's one way to prevent it. They make helmets. They're very readily available to baseball teams.
They have equipment for that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just you try to give this guy every chance to get out of it, and you try to give this guy he just needs that one swing, and you could just wear a helmet and avoid all of this. But we'll have to wait until Friday to see if Luis Robert Jr. has locked in on his changes. Did you get any insight on what they're looking to change? Or I mean, it just seems like mentally he's just kind of drained.
Yeah, it's not. It wasn't really even changes. It was mostly just trying to get him reset mentally and give him some opportunities in the batting cage to face different kinds of situations. They said they were challenging him on certain types of pitches to give him opportunities to see those things and get comfortable with that again. But it really, I think, as we all know, this is almost completely a mental reset because physically he's fine. It's just the guy's struggling, needs a couple of days to reset. So you hope that things turn a corner this weekend.
Yeah, he was physically fine until he concussed himself in the batting cage.
Right. Until he hurt himself, yeah.
All right, Jared, what are you smoking on the way home? What's your treat?
I am embarrassed to admit that my humidor is empty right now. And so I have a fresh supply. I'm getting restocked on Saturday, but I have to wait until then to light up my next one. So I've got nothing today, just me and my thoughts. I
mean, you're at Rate Field. I don't know if a certain someone's there, but I know he's a cigar aficionado. I mean, maybe he's looking to celebrate with somebody. Go knock on a couple doors, see if you can find a friend.
Word is he's out of town, but if he was here, I'd hit him up.
Oh, yeah. I guess he's making business deals. All right. That's Jared Wyllys, our CHGO baseball beat writer. You can follow him at JWillis, Y's instead of I's. And you can read his work up at allchgo.com. Appreciate it, Jared.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you. We are about to wrap up here. We don't want to go into overtime on the Fast channel, so we'll wrap this show up. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Today are days that we live for here at CHGO Sports. When there is breaking news, we want to be able to get the news out to you diehards as soon as possible. We want to be able to keep you informed and chat with you about what's going on here in Chicago. I am very, 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 very proud of Joey, Sarah, Jake, Tony, Emma. I think there's also another Jake as well that I gotta appreciate or thank you for getting us up live as soon as we did. And I feel like honestly, if we were a little bit more prepared, we probably could have been up sooner. We were ready, and I'm just very proud of our team for being ready and being here to have this product for you. It's been a really tough past 2 years for CHGO and the White Sox. And the fact that we had 275 people on the emergency podcast today was truly heartwarming. So it was great to see White Sox fans support and have White Sox fans get news that is very, very exciting. We'll have obviously more coverage on Sunday as we will recap the upcoming series against the Royals. Yes?
Sure is.
Thank God.
Coming to town. They don't want this smoke.
No,
they don't want this smoke.
They don't want this fun
We
bag.
got stuff going on. We got cable deals going on.
Yeah.
We got billionaires deals going on. We're splitting series left and right.
You're going to beat us in our City Connect 2.0s when we're on Comcast?
Good luck.
Get out of here.
It's all access, too.
Royals. We'll be back here on Sunday for the postgame and the recap of that Royals-White Sox series. Jerry Reinsdorf has agreed to sell. I'll see you in 2034 when it's official. Thank you to Joey Christopoulos for producing the show. Thank you to everyone for hanging out with us. Hit that thumbs up button. Love you. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.